Imagine waking up in a world where computers have no screens. You don't swipe, tap, or scroll. Instead, technology surrounds you, discreetly, intuitively, and almost invisibly anticipating your needs, your words, your moods. Now, what if the architects of that reality weren't Apple or Google, but the creators of ChatGPT, supercharged by the genius who designed the iPhone? This isn't science fiction. In fact, it's unfolding right now. OpenAI, a company that, in less than a decade, has gone from a Silicon Valley curiosity to the engine behind the AI revolution, just spent $6.4 billion to buy a mysterious device startup called Io. But here's the kicker. Io wasn't just another hardware wannabe. It was founded by none other than Sir Jony Ive, the legendary designer behind the iPhone, iMac, and Apple Watch. This move isn't just about gadgets. It's about redefining how billions of people use computers, and about who controls the future of technology itself. So why is OpenAI, best known for software like ChatGPT, now betting everything on hardware? Can Jony Ive, the man whose brilliance turned Apple's gadgets into cultural icons, spark a brand new revolution, this time for AI? And what does this seismic shift mean for the likes of Apple, Google, and even humanity's daily life? Welcome to the story of the $6.4 billion gamble that could change everything you think you know about computers, AI, and the battle for tech supremacy. To truly understand why this matters, we need to rewind and meet the two titans at the center of this story. On one side, OpenAI. Founded in 2015 as an artificial intelligence research lab, OpenAI's mission is both simple and grand. Make sure artificial general intelligence, AGI, benefits everyone. If you've heard of ChatGPT, DALL-E, or the infamous GPT-4, you've seen their work. OpenAI has become a household name almost overnight, powering everything from customer service bots to breakthrough scientific research. But up until now, OpenAI's genius has mostly lived in the cloud. Their AI models answer questions, generate code, write poetry, on screens, through apps, and tucked away inside larger platforms. For most people, OpenAI is a tool, powerful but distant. The interface, the experience, the hardware, someone else's job. Enter the other side, Jony Ive, and the mythic world of Apple design. Jony Ive is not just a designer. He's the man whose vision defined 3 decades of personal technology. The gumdrop iMac, the clickwheel iPod, the almost magical first iPhone all bear his fingerprints. Working hand in hand with Steve Jobs, Ive made technology not just efficient, but beautiful, approachable, and even emotional. After 27 years and a string of global hits, Ive left Apple in 2019, starting a creative collective called Love From with Mark Newson, designer of everything from Ferrari cars to iconic furniture. For years, Love From was a secretive force consulting for billion-dollar brands, from Airbnb to Ferrari, quietly shaping the objects that fill our lives. But then in 2024, Jony Ive launched something truly new, a stealthy startup named Io. Unlike the sprawling tech giants, Io was lean, agile, and laser-focused. Its mission, as the company put it, to inspire, empower, and enable with products that are as intuitive and elegant as they are transformative. And the team behind Io was a designer's dream squad. Ive recruited Scott Cannon, Evans Hankey, and Tang Tan, veterans behind Apple's most successful gadgets. In just a year, Io became the talk of Silicon Valley, an enigma, but a tantalizing one. All of this set the stage for a partnership that felt almost inevitable, but still sent shockwaves through the tech industry. In a deal worth $6.4 billion, OpenAI acquired Io, and with it, secured the full creative force of Jony Ive and his legendary team. As part of the bargain, OpenAI also forged deeper ties with Love From, enlisting Ive not as a consultant but as the creative visionary for the company's future. Sam Altman, the tireless CEO of OpenAI, didn't mince words. AI is an incredible technology, but great tools require work at the intersection of technology, design, and understanding people and the world. No one can do this like Jony and his team. What does that actually look like? According to insiders and analysts, it's nothing less than the birth of a new category of devices. Think, computers with no screens. Devices that live in your pocket, on your body, maybe in your home, powered entirely by voice, by context, by the seamless flow of AI. There's even a prototype, rumored to be so intuitive it makes today's smartphones look clunky by comparison. One unnamed executive, after seeing the demo, reportedly called it the coolest piece of technology that the world will ever see. But for all the hype, details are scarce. What will these devices look like? How will they work? And most importantly, why now? Here's where the stakes get real. This isn't just about shiny new gadgets. It's about the next trillion-dollar platform. The last time a product category shifted this dramatically, it was the iPhone. Apple's smartphone didn't just kill the flip phone, it fundamentally reshaped how humans connect, work, and create wealth on a global scale. For years, the tech world has wondered, what comes after the smartphone? Even Apple, flush with cash and unbeatable in hardware, is looking for its next big thing. Wearables like the Apple Watch were a hit, but haven't eclipsed the phone. Virtual reality? Too niche. Smart speakers? Useful, but limited. OpenAI and Ive think they have the answer. AI-first devices that don't just run AI, they're built around it from the ground up. Imagine technology you don't see, but feel. Devices that know you so well, they become an extension of your thoughts. A digital assistant that truly understands you, not just responds to keywords. The vision is bold. Some say it's almost reckless. Altman himself believes this partnership could add $1 trillion to OpenAI's value. That's not a typo, a $1 trillion leap on the back of devices that so far the world hasn't even seen. So what's the catch? Here's where the story deepens and where the battle lines are drawn. First, the technical mountain. Building truly AI-native hardware isn't just a software problem, it's an everything problem. From advanced sensors that can see and hear the world, to custom chips to process AI on the fly, to batteries that won't die before lunch, and all of it wrapped in a form factor nobody's quite figured out. Analysts predict that a mass-market AI device from OpenAI and Ive could arrive as soon as 2027. Rumors point to pocket-sized wonders with no traditional display. Instead, a symphony of haptic feedback, spatial audio, and maybe even tactile surfaces that respond to your touch in ways that feel almost alive. But it's not just about hardware, or even about the AI brains inside it. The heart of the challenge is this. Can OpenAI and Jony Ive build something people will actually want in their lives every day? Or, to borrow the words of analyst Carolina Milanesi, the true test will be whether they can create a device so seamless, so naturally integrated that it feels indispensable. And then, there's the design war that's only just begun. For decades, design was Apple's secret weapon. The way an iPod click wheel moved under your thumb. The way an iPhone slid into your pocket. Pure elegance and precision. Now, for the first time since Steve Jobs' return, Apple is facing a designer who knows its secrets intimately, Jony Ive himself. Gene Munster, a longtime Apple watcher, says the threat is existential. If OpenAI and Ive succeed, Apple's current dominance could be shattered. We're talking about a new paradigm, AI first, not app first. That's a direct challenge to everything Apple's ecosystem represents. On the flip side, there are skeptics. Some argue that AI and hardware is a mirage. People are creatures of habit. They love their screens. They need feedback they can control. And the privacy implications, letting an AI-powered device listen, learn, and act on your behalf, are enormous. Is Big Brother about to live in your pocket? But the momentum is undeniable. OpenAI didn't just buy I/O. It snapped up Windsurf, a $3 billion acquisition to accelerate AI-assisted coding. It hired Caitlin Kalinowski, a leader in robotics hardware from Meta, to steer its own consumer hardware initiatives. It brought in the best, whatever the cost. Ben Wood, a veteran tech analyst, put it plainly. Jony Ive's record at Apple speaks for itself. He didn't just build gadgets, he built objects of desire. If he can work that magic at OpenAI, the AI hardware revolution isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Still, enormous questions linger. Can a team built for Apple's pace and secrecy adapt to OpenAI's breakneck culture of openness and iteration? Can they solve the manufacturing and supply chain nightmares that have killed so many ambitious tech dreams before? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what does this mean for you, for all of us, as humans in an AI-powered world? In a recent interview, Jony Ive reflected, "I have a growing sense that everything I've learned over the last 30 years has led me to this moment." It sounds profound, and maybe a little ominous. Are we truly on the verge of the next iPhone moment? Or is this just another expensive Silicon Valley experiment? As the first whispers of I/O's prototype leak into the wild, and Apple, Google, and every global tech giant scramble to respond, one thing is certain: the rules of the technology game are about to be rewritten. But what will these devices be? How will our daily lives change? And can OpenAI and Jony Ive really pull off history's most audacious tech leap before Apple does? Stay with us, because the next chapter will reveal the hidden risks, the fierce competition, and the surprising ways this gamble could reshape everything: jobs, privacy, and maybe even what it means to be human. As OpenAI welcomes Jony Ive and the entire IO team into its fold, the entire technology world is abuzz with anticipation. The stage is set not only for a clash of titans, OpenAI versus Apple, but for a radical reimagining of what it means to use, trust, and live with technology every day. The stakes? Nothing less than the future of human-computer interaction and, potentially, the next trillion-dollar product category. Let's look ahead. What could this partnership truly unleash, and what challenges could trip it up? First, there's the possibility of a completely new device ecosystem, one that breaks free from the tyranny of the screen. Insiders whisper about a pocket-sized, screenless AI device, always listening, always ready to help, a digital companion that blends seamlessly into daily life. Imagine ditching your smartphone for an object no larger than a pebble, one that understands your voice, your gestures, even your emotions, and responds in context. This isn't just wild speculation. The design cues are clear: Jony Ive's obsession with minimalism, seamlessness, and magic. OpenAI's relentless drive to make AI accessible to everyone. According to Ben Wood, with Jony's track record in revolutionary consumer products and Altman's vision for ubiquitous AI, we may be on the brink of computers that feel less like machines and more like silent partners. But real innovation brings real risk. Replacing the familiar glass display with invisible ambient intelligence poses daunting challenges. How do you build trust in a device that's always listening? How do you create emotion and delight in something you can't even see? And how do you convince billions of users to abandon decades of habits, typing, tapping, swiping for something entirely new? Or there are technical hurdles. OpenAI's models, powerful as they are, still struggle with nuance and context in the chaos of the real world. Battery life, privacy, and manufacturing scale could all become stumbling blocks. Apple has spent years perfecting its supply chain and privacy standards. Can OpenAI, a company born in software, match that rigor? Then there is the culture clash. OpenAI is fast, disruptive, unencumbered by legacy. Jony Ive and his core team are perfectionists, methodical, and famously uncompromising about design. Mark Newson and Evans Hankey, part of the IO Brain Trust, have been called the last of the true craftsmen in Silicon Valley. Can that level of detail survive OpenAI's urgency? If not, will the resulting device feel incomplete, rushed, or potentially exactly what the market needs? Competition is looming. Gene Munster, a veteran Apple analyst, warns, the open challenge from OpenAI and Jony Ive will force Apple to decide: do they double down on the iPhone or pivot to compete in a new world of AI-first devices? Other major players, Google, Meta, even Samsung, are watching closely, ready to pounce or partner as the landscape shifts. The threat of a fractured ecosystem, patent disputes, or a race to the bottom in pricing and privacy standards is real. Yet for all these risks, the potential rewards are enormous. Imagine a future where AI ceases to be an app, a website, or even a feature, but becomes the core layer of our daily environment. We could see an explosion of new interfaces: spatial audio that whispers answers in your ear, haptic feedback that lets you feel information, contextual awareness that anticipates your needs before you even speak. Industrial designer Tang Tan, another IO veteran, summarizes it best: when technology fades into the background and lets you focus on living, that's when design has truly succeeded. What does this mean for you, our viewer? Why should you care about the clash of OpenAI and Apple, or the dreams of a legendary designer? It means that, very soon, the devices you rely on, from your phone to your watch to your car dashboard, could transform beyond recognition. These changes won't just be cosmetic. They'll alter how you manage your information, build relationships, get things done, and even form memories. If you're a creator, developer, or entrepreneur, this is your signal. AI-first hardware is about to become a playground for innovation. Don't wait for Apple or OpenAI to hand you a fully baked ecosystem. Start experimenting with voice, with context, with hardware integrations that reduce friction and empower users. The companies that ride this wave early, think of the first iOS app developers or successful Kickstarter gadget inventors, could build the next generation of iconic products and brands. For regular consumers, the lesson is to stay curious, but cautious. The first AI devices may seem magical, but every new technology comes with trade-offs. Pay attention to how these devices handle your data, your privacy, and your attention. If a screenless assistant is always listening, who else is it listening for? Choose products and services from companies whose values align with yours, not just the ones offering the most convenience or novelty. Parents, educators, and policymakers should begin to ask tough questions now, not after the genie is out of the bottle. How will kids interact with AI companions? Could constant, context-aware feedback make learning more adaptive or more addictive? Should new laws govern what AI devices can remember, share, or forget about our lives? On a practical level, start building your own AI literacy. The more you understand how conversational AI works, the better you'll be at using and questioning the next wave of devices. Test out voice assistants, experiment with smart home gear, follow news on privacy and design. The coming revolution will reward those who engage thoughtfully, not just passively consume. Let's not forget, every technology revolution is built on a foundation of incremental learning. The iPhone wasn't the first smartphone, the Macintosh wasn't the first computer. What set them apart was an invisible marriage of world-class technology and breathtaking design, a kind of magic the user could feel, but not always see. With Jony Ive and OpenAI, we may be witnessing the spark of the next great leap. So, can OpenAI and Jony Ive actually deliver on their promise? Will they create a product so compelling that it changes not only what we use, but how we think about interacting with machines? Based on everything we know, the ambition, the resources, the creative genius now gathered under one roof, the answer is, they just might. But if history teaches us anything, it's that revolutions are rarely predictable. Even Steve Jobs needed 2 tries and a few years in the wilderness before the iPhone changed the world. Success for OpenAI and Ive won't depend solely on technology or even design, but on their ability to win hearts, build trust, and make AI disappear into daily life. Here's a secret industry insiders are whispering. The real endgame isn't just the device, but an entirely new platform, one that every other hardware company, from Apple to Samsung to Google, will have to build for or risk falling behind. OpenAI is betting that the next great leap isn't a faster screen or a bigger battery, but a world where AI is woven into the fabric of everything. Whoever wins this race won't just sell you a gadget. They'll redefine your relationship with technology for the next decade or more. We're on the cusp of something massive. The question isn't just who will win, OpenAI, Apple, or someone else, but how the very act of using technology could become invisible, intuitive, almost human. So, what do you think? Are you ready to welcome a screenless, AI-powered future into your pocket, your home, your life? Or will the comfort and predictability of today's devices keep you loyal to the old ways? Hit the comments with your thoughts, your questions, your wildest predictions. Don't forget to subscribe for deep dives, behind-the-scenes stories, and the secret facts driving the next revolution in tech design.